In today's video, I'm going to give you the 7 most important tips for running a successful Amazon KDP business. Now guys, I've been selling on Amazon KDP since 2018, and I have learned all of these things the hard way. What I am going to do in this video is just share the 7 most impactful tips. Now, as usual in these videos, I will explain these tips here on camera, but then I'll also switch you over to my own computer and show you real examples of these. So guys, this is going to be one of those videos that crams a ton of valuable information into it in a quick time. So sit back, relax. This is going to be a good one. All right, so getting straight into this, the very first tip is that you need to create a process. This is something that took me years to really optimize my own process, and it's going to be different for each one of you guys. But what I mean by this is that when you are working on your Amazon KDP business, there are certain stages or different parts of working on that business that you're going to repeat over and over again. The 3 biggest stages here are really going to be finding niches, creating your books, and uploading those to Amazon. In order to really have a successful Amazon KDP business, you need to figure out how to optimize each one of these stages. Now, like I said, for each one of us, we may have a different process, but just to give you reference, for me personally, I use a research tool in order to find my niches instead of just trying to do it on Amazon. This makes it a lot faster. I then use a KDP book creation tool in order to create my books. This has cover templates. This has pre-made templates. I make the book creation process faster. And then I have copy-paste templates that I use for my title, my subtitle, my description when I'm actually uploading that book to Amazon. So guys, just keep that in the back of your mind. And each time you are doing this part of the process in your business, try to figure out how you can do it most efficiently. And then remember that, write it down somewhere, bookmark it somewhere so that you can do it faster next time. All right, so just like that, we're moving on to the second tip. What the second tip is that you need to find underserved niches. This is a tip that I wish I could write on a billboard and show everyone who is doing Amazon KDP. And essentially what this is that if you just blindly go into creating books on Amazon KDP, you are going to be facing so much competition. What so many people don't fully realize about Amazon KDP is that the big general niches, they are extremely competitive. Everyone says the business is oversaturated, but it's only those big niches that are really oversaturated and competitive. If, however, you dig deeper into those niches, you are going to find all of these sub niches within that big overall niche that are fully underserved. If you know how to find all of these underserved niches, you can literally create books about that specific topic, upload it to Amazon. Amazon will rank it because there's no competition. And then all those people who are already searching for it are now going to have something to purchase. Now, guys, as you probably know in my videos, I don't like to just talk about it on camera. I'll actually show you a real example of this on my computer. So let's go over to Amazon and I'll show you this. So if you search for a 1950s themed crossword puzzle and you start to scroll through here, you're going to see that this one is general crossword puzzle. It doesn't say specifically 1950s. And then you've got one 1950s right here. It's selling great, has a bunch of reviews. You've got another 1950s crossword right here, selling great as well. You've got a third one right here, and then it starts to get into all general crossword puzzle books. Now, yes, I've just shown you the results here, so you can see that there's only 3 books that are directly competing in this. However, the other part of the equation is, how do you know that people are actively searching for this? Well, I can quickly show you that on the tool that I use for this. So let me go over to the tool. It is called BookBolt. And just to kind of show you this process here, you go over to the left side. These are all their tools. You click on keywords. You then go to search. This is where you then just type in what is the category of book that you want to research. So this is a crossword. You just type that in. And then this is going to load all of the behind the scenes Amazon search data. So it's going to tell us on the left side what people are specifically searching that is related to crosswords, and then how many people per month are searching for that. Now, real quickly here, I always switch this 10 to 100 so that I can just keep scrolling down here and you can see a ton of ideas very quickly. But this idea came from this list right here. So 1950 crossword, 5,000 people per month are searching for that. There's only 3 that you could purchase. And here's the other variant of that 1950s crossword. Over 3,000 people are searching for it that way on Amazon. Now, guys, the reason that I use BookBolt for this is that in addition to showing us how many people are searching for that each month, if you heart these ideas, so the ones that you are considering going into, all you have to do then is go over to keywords again and then go to favorites. This will put in the ones that you have just hearted. And all we have to do is click on the 3 lines for each of these, and it's going to pull up the details about that niche specifically. And what we are looking for is the competition score. So this is an A-rated competition score, which means it's really good. The rating system here is just like in school. So you get an A if you did really well, a B, C, D, all the way down to an F. And essentially what that's telling us is an A rating means there's very few people competing in this niche. Without even going over to Amazon, we can tell that this is a good niche to go into because there are thousands of people searching for it every month and there's very few competitors. Now, before we leave this page real quick, I do want to just say that the estimated monthly sales volume says 1. Amazon doesn't give out the sales number for every niche. So for some of these niches, it's just just going to say one, even though we know that there are thousands of people searching for it every month and there's only 3 to choose from, which these books already have 200 reviews, 49 reviews. So trust me, those books are selling a lot more than one time per month. Now guys, as I had said, this video is going to move at a fast pace. So I just wanted to give you a quick overview of how to find these niches. I will put a longer, more detailed and slower paced video down in the description below that walks you through this process of finding these niches. Okay, so getting right back to this, let's move into the third tip. So what this tip is that for each one of these underserved niches that you find, create 3 different books. This is something that I've kind of learned from trial and error and optimized down to 3 being the ideal number. And essentially the idea here is that once you find any of these niches that are underserved and don't have many competitors, if you create 3 different cover designs and 3 different interiors and you upload all 3 of those into that niche, you are then going to get a lot more of those buyers than if you were to just create 1 book and upload it into that niche. What I've kind of learned over the years here is that when buyers come into the niche, they may not relate to the cover design that you created. They might not like the colors, the font, the image. It could be something about that book that's really not grabbing their attention. So if you make 3 different ones, they may be more attracted to the second one or the third one. And that's how you're still going to get that buyer and not miss the sale. Now, to take this even further, you can then go look at your sales data over time. You can see which ones of these niches are selling and go create even more different cover designs to attract even more of those buyers. So hopefully we're all on the same page so far. Let's now go ahead and move into the 4th tip. What the 4th tip is to use similar keywords in your listing. Now, what I mean by this is that when you are uploading your book to Amazon KDP, whatever niche that you found that said it was a good niche to go into, you want to use the name of that niche in your title, subtitle, description, tags, as much as you can throughout your Amazon KDP listing. Essentially, what you're doing here is you're telling Amazon, this is what my book is about. This is where I want you to show me on the marketplace. However, something that a lot of people overlook is that you should also use similar keywords. So I'll actually switch you over to the computer and show you a real example of this. So this is one of my Amazon KDP books. It is a horse-themed word search book. And what I've done here, and I actually do for all of my Amazon KDP books, is that the main keyword is horse word search puzzle book. However, I've also used similar keywords like horse racing and horse riding. This is because some people might be searching on Amazon for horse riding word search book or horse racing word search book. And since my book is generally about horses, I still want to show up for those searches. Now, this is something that I've done throughout the subtitle here, the description, the tags on this book. I tried to put in the main keyword and the similar keywords as much as possible so Amazon knows exactly what I want to show up for. Now, guys, this is actually a cool point where I can show you some additional tips here really quickly. First off, I want to say that this was one of those niches that said 1 estimated monthly sales volume. And I know that this book for my analytics has sold 20 or 30 times already. So just let that kind of be credibility that even if that estimated sales volume says 1, it could still be a great niche to go into. Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention while we're here is that this book only has 1 review. For most of its life of getting sales, it had no reviews and it was still getting sales. So don't worry about getting reviews if you're going into the underserved niches. The only time you are really going to need reviews on your book is if you're going into very competitive niches and you're competing with a lot of other options for people to buy. If you are going into these underserved niches, people don't have many options to buy. So if yours checks all of the boxes and it doesn't have any reviews, or it just has 1 or 2 reviews, they are still going to purchase it. Now, the last thing I'll say before we move on here is that don't worry about paid ads. Again, it's the same thing as the reviews. If you're going into competitive niches, then you're going to have to use paid ads to build up those reviews. If you're going into underserved niches, you don't have to worry about paid ads because Amazon's going to rank you organically because you're not competing against many other books. All right, guys, so hopefully those couple rapid fire tips turn out to be helpful. Let's now get on to the 5th tip. The 5th tip may actually turn out to be the most important tip in all of Amazon KDP. And what that is to avoid copyrighted and trademarked topics. This goes for all of Amazon KDP. It doesn't matter what type of book you are creating. However, you cannot create something that is about a topic that is owned by someone else. Now, to simplify this to make it easy to understand, there's basically copyrights and trademarks. They are both formal ways that a person or a company can own the rights to something. Now, that something could be a lot of different things. However, when it comes to Amazon KDP, primarily that is going to be recognizable brands or companies, recognizable people, so celebrities or athletes, and recognizable characters. So these could be characters from a movie or a TV show or a book. Guys, this is one of those rules that you absolutely have to pay attention to and follow for Amazon KDP. And if you don't follow these, Amazon can actually close your entire Amazon KDP account. So let me bring you back over to my computer and I'll show you some real examples of this on Amazon. So if you search for NBA word search, which is National Basketball Association, it's a professional league of basketball in the United States, and you scroll through these listings, you're going to see that this is a real basketball player. That's their face on the cover. You keep scrolling through here, you're going to see this is another one right here. You keep scrolling down, There's 2 right here. You've got another one right here. This ends up being a very fine line of creating these books because although we want to show people that it's about basketball, these specific basketball players technically have the right to say that you are using their reputation to get sales. This turns out to be the right of publicity and privacy. Now guys, I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible just so it makes the most sense, but this topic does get very complex. The key takeaway that I can give you here is that no matter what type of book you are creating on Amazon, don't use anything that is recognizable, a recognizable brand, company, a recognizable person, or a character. Although there are some exceptions where you are allowed to use these things, I really don't recommend getting into it just because this area gets too complex. Okay guys, so moving right along into the 6th tip. This goes hand in hand with the previous one and turns out to be extremely important as well. What that is to use a copyright-free and commercially usable book creation tool. Now, as we were just talking about with copyrights and trademarks, that can apply to many other things as well. Some of the things that Amazon KDP sellers most commonly overlook are fonts, graphics, and layouts. All 3 of these are going to come into effect when you're creating your actual book. So to show you a real example of this, coming back into my computer, this is that same tool, BookBolt, but this is their design suite. So in addition to research, you can also create your full books here. If you click on a font here, all of their fonts in the dropdown are all copyright free and commercially usable. They built this tool specifically for Amazon KDP, so we can use any of these without having to worry that someone else owns the rights to that font. Now guys, the same thing goes for the photos. So if you open up their photo library, you can search through and all of these are going to be copyright free and commercially usable. So guys, depending on what book creation tool you are using to create your books, before you create and upload your next book, make sure that all of their fonts, all of their images, and even the layouts are copyright free and commercially usable. Now guys, lastly, since we talked about layouts, I do want to just show you, if you go over to their layouts here on the left, all of these pre-made page templates, they are all going to be copyright free, commercially usable. And these are even the customizable puzzles. So if you're creating a word search book or a crossword book, you can do all of that in here as well. Guys, this is probably something that should be a tip itself, but inside of BookBolt, when you're creating your books, they have all of these pre-made page templates. So when you find those underserved niches, you can come back in here and see if they have a template already made for it, or you can then pick one of these templates that's already close and you can just customize it by changing the theme of that template or what the categories say. Again, this video is moving at a fast pace, but I will put a link down in the description below to a full step-by-step tutorial showing you how to use all of this to actually create these books from start to finish. All right, guys, so hopefully we are all still on the same page through all of these tips. We are now on the last tip in this video, and what this is to understand the timeline. Now, what I mean by this is that when you are starting an Amazon KDP business, you really have to understand how many books you need to upload and how long it's going to take to get sales. So in order to give you kind of a clean, simple average on this of what you can expect, yes, it is going to depend on many different factors. However, if you're going into the underserved niches, not using any paid ads, just relying on organic traffic, I would say you should expect to wait about 30 days until you start seeing sales. Now, this is actually really cool. In some of these underserved niches, you may find that there are a ton of buyers just waiting to have something to purchase. So within just a couple days of you uploading that book, it is going to start selling. This has happened on my account with a few different books, but I've uploaded the book into the niche, and I believe it was somewhere like 2 or 3 days, and that book started selling almost daily. Now guys, when it comes to how many books to upload, just try to upload as many books as you can. Like I said, try to create 3 books in each underserved niche that you find, and then just try to keep that momentum going and upload as many as you can on your account. When you start a brand new account on Amazon KDP, you are going to have a max of 3 books that you can upload per day. So every day that you're working on your KDP business, just try to fill those 3 books. Now, once you start to get sales on your account, that daily upload limit will automatically increase, but this is Amazon's way of preventing people just spamming the marketplace by having a maximum of 3 books per day on new accounts. Now guys, what's cool about this though is that you can create a bunch of books and save them on your computer in a folder, and then each day when you're still on that new account, you can upload 3 of those books and get them submitted. Guys, once you really get in the flow of things here and you figured out what your ideal process is and you can start creating these books faster, you should be able to create 5 to 10 of these books per day. Now obviously you can't upload all 5 to 10 of those per day until your limit increases. However, just to give you kind of a future goal of what to work towards, that's how many books you can realistically create per day. Now guys, if you are newer to Amazon KDP, something that you may not know yet but would be great to know at the start is that yes, it may take 30 days to start getting sales on on your books. But after that, the books basically just sell themselves. This is something that I ran an experiment to show you guys what this looks like for the first 30 days of selling on Amazon. I found 7 of these underserved niches, created just 1 book in each of them, and then we waited with no paid ads, just fully organic, to see how long it would take to start getting sales. And then I was able to show you guys how well those books sold the next month after they started getting sales and the month after that. Without getting too much into that video, essentially the books started selling more and more each month. And that was all without touching the books after we've uploaded them. If you guys do want to watch that video, I will put a link to it down in the description below. I will actually put links to all of the full tutorials that we talked about throughout this video. I'll put those links down in the description below as well. Guys, that's going to be it for this video. I really hope that this video has been helpful. If you have any questions at all, just let me know down in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please just give it a thumbs up. Otherwise, I'll plan to see you all in the next video.